Moving on, Ukraine, one of the world's biggest grain exporters, is seeking ways to get grain and vegetable oils out of the country after shipments were blocked following the Russian invasion in February. Both the West and Russia are playing blame game amid a risk of global food crisis. The Ukrainian Deputy Foreign Minister on Sunday confirmed that the country has established two routes through Poland and Romania to export grain and avert a global food crisis. The Ukrainian rail system operates on a different gauge from neighbors such as Poland. So the grain has to be transferred to different trains at the border where there are not many transfer or storage facilities. Rerouting grain to Romania involves transport by rail to ports to the Danube River. And it is a complex and costly process. Western countries are accusing Moscow of creating the risk of global famine by shutting Ukraine's Black Sea ports. Russia is denying responsibility for the international food crisis and is blaming the imposed Western sanctions.
The consequences of these actions have been devastating. The food supply for millions of Ukrainians and millions more around the world has quite literally been held hostage by the Russian military.
Together, the Ukraine war and sanctions on Russia has increased the price of grain, cooking oil, fertilizer and energy resources.
Ukraine is the world's fifth largest exporter of wheat and in the top three for maize, barley and sunflower seeds. Production of wheat in 2021 was approximately 40 million tons. And another 50 million tons for the other three commodities. Before the conflict, Ukraine used to feed the world. Now they need help to feed themselves.
Russia and Ukraine together account for nearly a third of the global wheat supply. It threatens many countries of food security crisis, including some of the developing nations, as they rely on Russia and Ukraine for more than half of their wheat imports.
That we allow these ports to open, because this is not just about Ukraine. This is about the poorest of the poor around the world who are on the brink of starvation as we speak. So I ask President Putin, if you have any heart at all, to please open these ports.
Ukraine is also a major exporter of corn, barley, sunflower oil and rapeseed oil. Russia and Belarus, which has backed Moscow in the war and is also under sanctions, account for over 40% of global exports of the crop nutrient potash. While Russia is denying attacks on grain storage, footages of Ukrainian city Mykolaiv, which is home to one of Ukraine's largest agricultural commodities terminal, is telling a different story. According to Ukrainian authorities, a grain storage facility in the Black Sea port of Mykolaiv has been left in charred ruins after Russian shelling. Kyiv says up to 300,000 tons of grain may have been stored in warehouses destroyed by Russian shelling last weekend. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.